Breckenridge Health partners with Assured Partners, or a team of dedicated, experienced insurance professionals that help manage your employee benefit package. I want to let you know that if you ever need assistance with a claim or have a question regarding your explanation of benefits or need a temporary ID card, please feel free to reach out to our office. Reach out to Sue Lofton at Assured Partners at the direct number listed or by email. Please note that Jamie's also posting this PowerPoint so that you can refer back to it because we're going to go pretty fast through these slides. There's several slides that we're going to cover. Please note that the following slides were designed to provide you with a brief overview of your 2019 benefit package. In the event of a conflict between the carrier summary and this description, the terms of the carrier summary will prevail. In this presentation, we will review the following: benefit basics, medical benefits, value-added services. We have a new voluntary ambulance benefit, health savings account, flexible spending account, dental and vision insurance, employer paid and voluntary life, short-term and long-term disability, as well as Allstate accident, cancer, critical illness, and hospital indemnity plans. You and your eligible family members may apply for benefits if you're a full-time employee. This is your 2019 open enrollment. Coverage is also available for your spouse and your dependent children through age 26. Please note that the elections that you make during this enrollment will remain in effect for the full year until next year, this time for a 2020 effective date, unless you experience a qualifying life event. Now, a qualifying life event includes birth, adoption, and legal guardianship, divorce or legal separation, marriage, death of policyholder, turning age 26 and aging off a parent's plan, loss of Medicaid, FMLA-related leave, or even loss of employer-sponsored group coverage. You may have coverage now through your spouse, or your spouse may have coverage through their employer, and they lose that coverage. That triggers a qualifying event. And with all qualifying events, you've got 30 days from the event date to notify Human Resources so that you can make a plan change. There are no exceptions to that rule, 30 days only from the event date. This is your class eligibility. Again, this will be posted. Your medical insurance will remain with UMR. The first plan, there are no plan changes. Let me say this up front. There are no plan changes from the current year. So the first plan is the base plan. It's a high deductible health plan that's HSA compliant. The high deductible health plan has no copays. So what this means is that everything will be subject to your deductible, then your coinsurance will kick in until you reach your out-of-pocket limit. So if you were to seek services at Breckenridge Health, you have a $2,700 deductible. Once your deductible has been met, your responsibility is 20% until it reaches $4,000. $4,000 is your total exposure. If you had a really bad claims year, that's the most that you'll be out of pocket for the remainder of that plan year for Tier 1 services until UMR picks up all your in-network claims at 100%. Now, of course, you have Tier 2, which is a UMR network. This means that you use UMR network providers, and Tier 3 is out-of-network. You do not want to use out-of-network services. You're going to have higher deductibles, higher coinsurance, higher out-of-pocket, and these providers have not contracted with the UMR network, so they're going to balance bill you, meaning that you have to pay whatever they bill you for. Note that with the high deductible health plan, Breckenridge Health will also make an employer contribution of $50 per month or $600 per year into your very own HSA bank account. And we're going to discuss that in greater detail on the future slides. The second option is the Buy-Up PPO plan. With the Buy-Up PPO plan, you have immediate copays. So if you were to go to the office, doctor's office visit, you'd have a $20 copay, specialist $20, and that's for Tier 1. Tier 2 has a $25.50. If you had emergency room services, there's a copay involved there as well. Immediate copays for prescription drugs. Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3 has a copay associated. And remember, you can get a 30-day or a 90-day supply at your retail pharmacy. Tier 4 are these specialty drugs. These typically are drugs that have just hit the market, that flash across your TV screen. A lot of times they just haven't been on the market long enough to hit a Tier 1, Tier 2, or Tier 3 status, but oftentimes they contain the same ingredients that perhaps a generic and brand equivalent would contain by taking 2 of those versus the 1 specialty. What we want to encourage you to do is to speak with your provider to see if there's an equivalent available that will save you money, because as you can see, a specialty drug will cost you 25% up to $250 to $550 per prescription. That's a lot of money. So, and your copays here, I want to remind you, copays do not apply to your deductible, but they do your out-of-pocket. So if you're worried about, what if I had a really bad claims year, what's my total exposure going to be? Your exposure's higher on the PPO plan if that's what you're worried about, because the high deductible health plan, the total out-of-pocket was $4,000. So keep that in mind when you're making your plan selection. If you're like me and you rarely go to the doctor or are not on any maintenance prescription drugs, I would be throwing money away if I enrolled in a PPO plan, because I'm not using the benefit, and no carrier will ever send you a refund because you're not using the plan. Trust me. So what you would do is, like me, I invest in the high deductible health plan. I save money coming out of my paycheck, and then of course I take advantage of the HSA bank account that's associated with that. And again, we'll get on that regarding the HSA in a future slide. The UMR network, to find a provider, you can go to www.umr.com, and that will show you your list of providers. Note that January the 1st, there are plan changes. Now, as we all know, the cost of air ambulance benefits can run as high as $45,000 or more per occurrence. The UMR medical plan will limit, effective January the 1st, 2019, the maximum amount that the air ambulance benefit under Breckenridge's medical health plan will pay out. The new maximum payout will be limited to $10,000 per covered and approved accident claim. So what that means to you is that there's going to be a differential there that you're going to have to come up with. But the good news is that we have a new benefit that we're going to offer to you. Ground ambulance services will also be paid out as a Tier 2 service, not a Tier 1 for emergency transport. So the new product is a new voluntary ground and air ambulance benefit offered through MESA, also MASO. I've said it several different ways in the upcoming slides, and you will be eligible to enroll in that effective January the 1st. It will pay your covered ambulance benefit in full, regardless of the ambulance network provider that you use. A takeaway here is we want to make sure that you know that your preventative care on either PPO plan or high deductible health plan is covered at 100%, as long as it's in network and as long as the provider files the claim as preventative. And that includes immunizations, well women checkup, well child checkup, mammogram, blood pressure tests, cholesterol tests, and certain tobacco cessation products. So take advantage of that. With the PPO plan, please be reminded that you have immediate copays. All those copays are immediate, but they do not apply towards your deductible. With the PPO plan, you're eligible to enroll in a flexible spending account, a full flexible spending account, and we're going to cover that on a future page as well. The high deductible health plan. With the high deductible health plan, that's the first slide that we covered, there are no copays associated. You must first meet your deductible. The good news is that you're eligible to participate in a health savings account. Now, a health savings account is an account set up in your very own name. There are no use it or lose it rules, and all unused balances roll over from year to year. Then you're also eligible to participate in a limited FSA if you're enrolled in the high deductible health plan. And what a limited FSA, flexible spending account, is that you can use that account for eligible dental and vision expenses. Not medical, but dental and vision. So the takeaways here is that on both of the plans, your out-of-pocket limit, that includes your deductible and co-payments. That's your total exposure. And when I covered the slides, I mentioned that the high deductible health plan was $4,000, and that's the least overall maximum that you'll have to incur. Dependent children are covered through age 26, regardless of full-time studentship or marital status. And we want to encourage you to make sure that your provider participates in the UMR network to avoid balanced billing. Non-emergent use of the emergency room. In your medical plan documents, there's language regarding prudent person lay law, and it states that if you go to the emergency room for a non-emergent situation, carriers can deny your claims. We are seeing carriers deny claims, and if your claims are denied, you have the right to appeal, but we're also seeing appeals being denied. So what that means to you is that you may be responsible for the entire emergency room bill if it's deemed non-emergent. We obviously want you to seek emergency room treatment for true emergencies. However, if the condition's non-emergent, we want to remind you to seek care from your primary care provider, an urgent care clinic, or even a teledoc service that we're going to cover in a future slide. The medical pricing is on the grid here. The first is for the high deductible health plan. Remember, that has a $50 employer contribution into your very own HSA bank account. That equates to $600 per year. And then the second grid is for the PPO pricing. This pricing has not changed from last year, so you are under a rate hold. Breckenridge absorbed the difference for this year, so no change in pricing for you, the employee. Value-added services. There are several slides here, and we're going to go through these pretty fast. UMR.com has a wealth of resources. So you can go from your device or your computer to find a provider. You can search for a provider by their name, the place, the type of testing and imaging they do, the care, the condition. So remember to search for a provider, because you no longer, if you print a directory, they're subject to change. You just really need to look online. If you were to call a provider to say, hey, do you accept this insurance? Everyone will say that. You got to make sure that they are clearly part of the network. You can also access your explanation of benefits so that you can get all details in one place and not have to wait for explanation of benefits to be mailed to you. You also can live chat in a navigation toolbar. They have team members that are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Teledoc. This is a feature that I referred to. We've had this in a couple of years now, and this is a virtual visit. You can talk to a doctor and be done within 10 minutes, anytime, anywhere. So you have to Skype. So you either have to have a mobile app downloaded on your phone, or by computer with a Skype device. You have 24/7 assistance. You pick from a network of qualified family physicians, and if that doctor can treat you, and perhaps they can call in a prescription to your local pharmacy. So again, you're not taking time off work. You can certainly be, access or service at midnight when other locations are closed. Pick up your prescription drug the next morning. It's very, very easy to do. I would suggest that if you're already enrolled in UMR, go ahead and create an account. It's very simple, because the last thing you want to do is to wait until you're not feeling good and go through an enrollment process. And then all you have to do is use your device, request a visit, and then wait for their diagnosis and even perhaps prescribe you medication. Now, if they cannot treat you, they're not going to bill you for anything. Now, generally what they can treat you for is colds or flu, allergies, strains, sprains, digestive issues, sinus problems, pediatric care. We don't want them to try to treat you for anything that's going on under the skin, such as broken bones, obviously. They could not treat you for that. So use these for those type of services that are treatable. And if you're enrolled in the PPO plan, it's the equivalent of your PPO office visit copay. If you're enrolled in the high deductible health plan, you will pay $45 from your debit card, your HSA bank account card at the time of service. And again, it's a toll-free number. Keep that toll-free number, in your wallet, in your purse, anywhere that you can access it. Should you be on vacation, you can pull it up. You also have an Epic Hearing Health Care through UMR, and what that is, they offer you discounts on hearing products and services. They have a national network of physicians, and you get a tremendous savings on hearing aids, and there's a toll-free number associated with that as well. Again, these documents will be posted. Now, as I mentioned in a future slide, we have a solution for the air and ground ambulance, and that is called MESA. We have Murphy on the phone, who's going to go through the next few slides and explain this benefit to you.
Thank you, Lisa. My name is Murphy Brock. As Lisa said, I'm with MESA Medical Transport Solutions. And as we all know, emergencies can happen anytime and anywhere. As a matter of fact, there's over 500,000 air transports per year, with the average charges being about $50,000, sometimes more. There's one EMS call for every 10 people nationally, and the average charges there surpass $2,000 many times. The majority of all air and ground providers are out of network with the insurance carriers. So what that means to you guys is that you can be blindsided with larger and larger bills. And as time's gone on, they've gotten larger and larger. So On a non-emergent basis, an air transport typically requires pre-approval from insurance. So when that happens, what the air provider could do is they charge you up front a minimum of $10,000 and sometimes more just to get started. Moving on to the next slide, we've got an example of claims here. These are real bills. We're not trying to scare you guys, but the top one there is a ground ambulance bill. It only was a 20-mile transport, but the charges were $1,718, and insurance only paid a little over $374. What that left the individual employee or patient was $1,340 or so that they had to pay out of their own pocket. So if you have an ambulance bill, which is right below that, it just gets worse. That total charge was $41,600. The balance bill to the patient was $8,300. Now, keep in mind that these bills are only 3 years old. So, like I said earlier, these bills continue to rise, and we want to help you with that. These are very conservative examples. If you move on to the next slide, why is health insurance not enough? Well, part of it's what I said just a minute ago with all the providers, ground and air, majority of them being out of network. And the insurance companies pay based on usual and customary charges. So in this example, you have a $45,000 charge for the air transport. Insurance paid $10,000 on that bill. The person had 80% health coverage, so it ends up being only $8,000. Well, what does that mean to you? That means that you're stuck with the difference, the $2,000 difference and the $35,000 difference, which totals $37,000 you have to come up with. None of us want to do that. So with regards to MASA, you have peace of mind to get these bills settled. We work with over 1.5 million members and growing now, and we're basically offering comprehensive financial protection for all these life-saving emergency transportations, whether you're at home or away, anywhere that you are, we're going to help you with it. As you can see, there's a couple of testimonials there as well you can take a look at. In terms of the membership details, we have the Platinum Plan and the Emergent Plus Plan. Both plans, cover the emergent ground situation that I just went over. If you call 911, get transported, get a bill after that, no matter how high it is, we're going to take care of it for you. Both of those plans also have coverage for the emergent air transportation that I went over. There's also a repatriation piece. What that means is when you have to, if you're away from home and you need to get back to a hospital close to home, we will arrange for that flight and pay for it. On the Platinum Plan, it's worldwide coverage. On the Emergent Plus Plan, it's the U.S. and Canada and all 50 states. Also on the Platinum Plan, you have a non-emergent piece, which talks about what I did a minute ago. And that is if you need to go from one hospital to another, and it's over 100 miles, and on the Platinum Plan, there's worldwide coverage for that. So if you need to get back to another hospital for specialized care or whatever, we're going to help you take care of that. In terms of the pricing, on the next slide there, the Platinum Plan is $39. The Emergent Plus Plan is $14. Now, this includes the employee and the employee family. So what that means is you're covered, as well as your spouse or your domestic partner and any dependents up to age 26. One more thing you want to keep in mind is through Breckenridge Hospital, if you bought that Platinum Plan on your own, it would cost you $60 a month with a $60 initiation fee. So you're getting a great deal on that Platinum Plan through Breckenridge Hospital. And just remember that wherever you are, any ground, any air, anywhere, we're going to help you out.
Thank you, Murphy. When will you be set up at Breckenridge House?
It will be next Monday. I believe it's the 13th, if my memory's right. I'll be there at 2 o'clock your time, stay for 3 or 4 hours, however long, until people, have left the building or things slow down. And then I'll be back the next morning, I believe, from 9 to noon, if I'm not correct, Jamie. Please correct me.
That's correct. And it's actually the 12th and the 13th, so Monday and Tuesday. So, and he'll be set up in the business office lobby.
Great. All right. So moving on to the health savings account. As I mentioned in a previous slide, a health savings account can be tied with a high deductible health plan. A health savings account it's a tax advantage account that could be used for future healthcare expenses. HSAs are owned by you, the individual, and they're not like a flexible spending account because the HSA funds roll over and accumulate year after year if not spent. They have the ability to earn tax-free interest, And they may be used to pay for qualified medical expenses such as deductibles, coinsurance, prescription drugs, dental and vision care, long-term care, nursing home, and much more at any time without a federal tax liability. Now remember, if you enroll in the high deductible health plan, Breckenridge Health will make a $50 monthly contribution, $600 per year, into your very own HSA bank account through the Sicilian Bank. The contribution limits for 2019 for single coverage is $3,500 and for family $7,000. Now, if you take advantage of the Breckenridge Health employer contribution, you will have to minus out the $600, and then you can fund the HSA bank account up to the maximum limit once that's minused out. There will be the Sicilian Bank of Hardingsburg will assist with setting up HSA accounts. There are no monthly minimums. A debit card will be provided upon request, and you can have unlimited check writing. However, members must pay for checks. Members will receive a monthly statement. You don't have to shoebox or monitor receipts. If you're new to the HSA bank account concept, it works just like a debit card. As your money's put on the card, then you can spend the money. I swipe my card for dental, vision, medical, qualified expenses. Works the same way as your typical checking account debit card. Who's eligible for an HSA account? Any member that's covered by a high deductible health plan. You cannot be covered by a PPO plan. You cannot be covered by the Breckenridge high deductible health plan and a spouse plan. You can only be covered by the one high deductible health plan. You cannot be enrolled in Medicare. You cannot be claimed as a dependent on someone else's tax returns. Your HSA contributions are 100% tax deductible from your gross income. That's huge. Can I be enrolled in a PPO plan and have an HSA bank account? So I want to go through this with you. Let's say, for instance, you're enrolled now or you intend to enroll in the high deductible health plan and you take advantage of the HSA bank account. And let's say next open enrollment for 2020, you decided that you want to go back to a PPO plan, but you have $3,000 in your HSA bank account. Well, that money is yours to continue to use at any time that you want for any qualified expenses. However, when you re-enroll in that PPO plan, then you no longer can make a financial contribution into your HSA bank account. Okay, so until you re-enroll into a high deductible health plan, that money's still there to use, but it's not going to grow by additional contributions until you re-enroll into the high deductible health plan. And again, unused funds will roll over year to year. You will not use this. It's not a use it or lose it deal. This is a sample of qualified expenses. You can visit the irs.gov website and pull up a full list. A lot of this covers acupuncture, which is typically not covered by your medical plan, fertility treatments, contact lenses solutions, chiropractor visits, swipe it for doctor's visits, eyeglass frames, dental services. Several things are covered, and you know your debit card is very smart. When you use it at a location, it will not be swipeable for a big screen TV. It's going to know whether or not that's a qualified expense or not. Flexible spending account is through AIM. The flexible spending accounts allow you to pay for out-of-pocket medical expenses and dependent care expenses with pre-tax dollars through payroll deduction. Now, the flexible spending account, if you set aside funds, you must use the funds or you will lose them. So, unlike the HSA that roll over. With the flexible spending account, you can be enrolled in the PPO plan and have a full flexible spending account. You don't even have to be enrolled in the medical insurance at all at Breckenridge Health to take advantage of a flexible spending account. But if you're enrolled in a high deductible health plan and you want an FSA, it has to be a limited flexible spending account. And a limited flexible spending account is just limited to vision and dental expenses only. So either way, with the FSA, the flexible spending account, your annual maximum is $1,500. That's as much as you can contribute into either of those accounts. If you wanted to take advantage of the dependent care, you can contribute up to $5,000 for dependent care expenses. Again, this money is available to you January the 1st. However, you must use the funds or you will lose them. Sample of qualified FSA expenses. This is the full FSA qualified list. This is if you're enrolled in the PPO plan, you're not enrolled in the high deductible health plan, or if you're not enrolled in any of the Breckenridge health plans at all, you can enroll in the full FSA. Now, on the next slide is the limited. As you can see, and I've said it a couple of times now, when you enroll in the high deductible health plan, you cannot use your FSA towards medical expenses. So as you can see on the grid, it only lists the dental and vision expenses. The dental insurance will remain with Guardian. A few things I want to point out. You always want to, just like the medical, on the dental and vision, you too want to make sure that your providers participate with that particular carrier network. You can go to GuardianAnytime.com, click on Find a Provider. Now you're going to get a drop-down box and it's going to ask you what your network is. The dental network is Dental Guard Preferred. Employees have a $50 calendar year deductible and a family limit of 3 times family. So what that means is that if you have a family of 8, the maximum deductibles you'll pay is 3 per family. That's how the deductibles work. So it's $50 per person with a maximum of 3. You have preventative care services covered at 100%, basic at 100%, major at 60%, orthodontia at 50%. It's an annual maximum per year starting January the 1st of $1,000 per insured member. And then you also have a lifetime ortho maximum of $1,000. Dependent children can be covered through age 26. However, the ortho maximum is only through age 19. And that lifetime never resets. Once you've exhausted those benefits, they're done. So the next page will go into more of the policy details. Preventative care. This is not subject to your deductible. These are the preventative, your cleanings, your fluoride treatments, your oral exams, your sealants, your x-rays. You should leave that doctor's visit that's in network and not pay anything. Basic care, major care, subject to your $50 deductible. Once you pay your deductible, then these services in basic are covered at 100%, and then major is covered at 60%. It's a very rich dental plan. And again, if you go out of network, those doctors are going to balance bill you for whatever they want to, so stay away from out of network. Your dental pricing has not changed, which is excellent news for you all. And I do want to let you know that if you declined this benefit in the past and you're enrolling for the first time at the 2019 open enrollment, there is a waiting period for basic services of 6 months and a 12-month major services waiting period and a 24-month waiting period for ortho services. So if you're new to the plan, you're a new hire, this is your new hire event, some of these benefits you want to enroll in at that time so you can bypass any waiting periods. Vision insurance will remain with Guardian. The plan has not changed, nor has the pricing. With Guardian, again, you've got the same search for a provider network, GuardianAnytime.com, and your network will be VSP Network Signature Plan. You have a $20 exam copay, $20 material copay, and you get a eye exam every 12 months, of course. That's 12 months from your time of service. So if you typically go in February, then your doctor will see you next February. Lenses, you have 12 months frequency, and the lenses will be either for glasses or contact lenses. It's either or. And with lenses, you get up to $105, and any amounts over that you get a discount. And then frames you get every 24 months. So oftentimes when people wear both glasses and contacts, you can use your lens allowance to put in your same set of frames, since you have to use your frames every 24 months, or you can opt out and use it for contact lenses. Dependent children are covered through age 26 on this plan as well. Now, what you may not have heard about in the past is a new Guardian Anytime SM Mobile. Now, note that you no longer need to show your dental provider or your vision provider your ID card. A lot of times they don't even need it, but it's hard to get away from, our habits of wanting to have a card in our wallet or our purse. Now, what I've always recommended is before the applications come out, the app came out, then that you take a picture of your ID card on your phone. So therefore, if you misplace your ID card, you typically would have your cell phone picture available. If you go to these providers' office, they can typically pull you up by your social if you give them the correct carrier name. But what's even better is now you have a mobile app, and you can go to the Apple Store, you can go to the Google Store, you can pull up this free mobile app, and then from your mobile app, you can search for providers. You can pull up your ID card. You can do customized searches. There's a lot of wealth there. So while it's open enrollment, remember to go ahead and download this free app so that you will have it available to you when you need it. Group life and accident. For all Class 1 and Class 2 eligible employees working 36 hours or more per week, Breckenridge Health provides you with employer-paid life and accidental death and dismemberment through Guardian Life. It's 100% paid by the company, and there's also an accelerated death benefit. With an accelerated death benefit, we have this language in the employer-paid life and in the voluntary life benefit. And what it states is if you incur a terminal illness or a terminal injury, that conclusively will result in your death within 6 months, then you can apply for accelerated life claim. And what that is a lot of times when you have a diagnosis of a critical illness, a lot of people want to get their affairs in order. And so just note that that benefit is in there should that ever happen, hopefully not. The group term life benefit that's employer paid will be 1 times your annual base salary up to $100,000 max. Spouses are covered at $2,000, and then dependent children at $1,000 according to the limitations on the side there. There are age reduction schedules in place starting at age 70. The benefit will reduce by 35%. Moving on to the voluntary life benefit, it too is with Guardian. We had the same carrier in place last year. For all Class 1, Class 2, Class 3 eligible employees working 20 or more hours per week, you may enroll in the voluntary life with Guardian. Now, the employee, if you're new to the plan, coming on January the 1st, you're a new hire, your guarantee issue amount is $150,000. That means no health questions up to $150,000. Anything above will require health questions. As an employer, you're eligible to take out a minimum of $10,000 or $200,000. If you're already enrolled in this benefit and you don't have any change, that's wonderful. If you want to increase your benefit, we'll talk about a special enrollment notice on the next slide. Spouses may enroll up to 50% of the employee benefit. If you're in your new hire event, with your first effective date being January the 1st, spouses are eligible for $30,000 guarantee issue, no health questions, but because they get 50% of your benefit, you'd have to be enrolled in a minimum of $60,000. Now, spouse coverage just terminated age 70, and dependent children have coverage as well. Live birth to 13 days is $2,000, and the 14 days to age 26 is $10,000. There is a benefit age reduction schedule that starts at age 70. It too includes accelerated death benefit. And to the side here is sample pricing. So as you can see, it's very affordable. If you're age 30 to 34, $50,000 in group term life will cost you $2 per pay period. So look into that benefit if you've not enrolled into it before. Now, at this one-time open enrollment, you are eligible if you already have the Guardian Voluntary Term Life benefit, you may increase your current benefit by $50,000 as long as you do not exceed $150,000. And that's without health questions. If you want more than that, then certainly answer a health question form and we'll send it to underwriting for approval. Or they could approve it, they could decline it based on your current health. The example here is if you currently have, let's say, $50,000 on yourself, and let's say you've got a critical illness, you've got cancer, heart disease, everywhere else you will be uninsurable, but you want to take advantage of this $50,000, so that will now give you $100,000 in voluntary term life that you otherwise could not have obtained without health questions. And of course, it caps out at $150,000. What if I previously declined the Guardian Voluntary Term Life benefit and want to enroll now? If you previously declined and you want to enroll for the first time, then you will need to complete an EOBI form. It's a health questionnaire. You'll need to complete it on yourself or whomever is applying. And then that is channeled through Guardian, and then Guardian is subject to their underwriter review. Voluntary short-term disability. Now, short-term disability helps protect your income and lifestyle if you're unable to work due to a covered accident or covered sickness. It pays you 60% of your weekly pre-disability earnings up to a maximum of $1,000 for off-the-job sickness and accidents. Now, on this grid, I'm going to point out the differences. Every one of these is a triple option that you get to elect from. Every one pays a 60% of your salary. Everyone has up to a $1,000 maximum. The difference is, when will my benefits start? The option 1 starts on day 8, option 2 day 15, option 3 day 30. So the way that this works, or day 31. So the way that this works is, if you have a lot of PTO time and you can afford the short-term disability not kicking in until day 31, this is the route to go, because this is going to be the least expensive, the most affordable one for you. It's going to give you 9 weeks of coverage. Option 2 starts on day 15. You'd use your 15 days. You wouldn't get paid for the first 14 days. And then option 1, you wouldn't get paid for the first 7 days. Of course, that's the richer plan. That's going to be the most costliest, but it's a very affordable plan regardless of which direction you go. Now, if you're new to the plan, your effective date is January the 1st, then you have a 312 pre-X language. And what that means is that if you've been treated for, taken a prescription drug for, any type of condition that causes that short-term disability to happen within the first 12 months, there's a 12-month exclusion for that one disability. But if you've not been treated for anything that causes your short-term disability, then that language will not apply to you. It's not even you're not even going to find it. So, and if you're already enrolled in the short-term disability policy, then you've already exceeded the waiting period anyway. So if you're already enrolled, you don't have any changes, that's wonderful. There's no EOI forms. Now, one thing to note, that if you previously declined this benefit and you're enrolling for the first time, you will have to complete that health questionnaire that I mentioned on the voluntary term life. Long-term disability. For all Class 1 employees working 30 hours per week, Breckenridge Health provides employer-paid long-term disability. Now, the benefit for that is 60% of your monthly salary up to $7,500 per month. Benefits start on day 91, so it piggybacks with the short term, and it will pay you for a maximum period to Social Security normal retirement age. All that's dictated by the doctor's notes as to how long they feel that you will be on your long-term disability. And of course, if you're new to the plan, you have that 312 pre-existing language. For all Class 1 and Class 2 employees working 30 hours per week, you're eligible to apply for the voluntary lump sum long-term disability through One America. Now, what this is that you can have you have 3 options: option 1, option 2, and option 3. All of these are lump sum payouts upon the diagnosis of a covered long-term disability. Option 1 has a $10,000, option 2 is a $20,000, option 3 is a $30,000. All of them piggyback with the short term. They start at 90 days. There is an age reduction schedule that starts at age 65, which will reduce your benefit by 30%. And then you have a 312 pre-X if you're new to the plan, applying for the first time January the 1st. And of course, if you're applying for January 1st, an EFI form underwriting questionnaire will be required. All right, the Employee Assistance Program is offered through Guardian. Keep in mind that this is available to you at no cost. They're your resource for telephonic counseling, face-to-face counseling, bereavement, tobacco cessation counseling. As you can see on this grid, there are several things that are covered. One thing I always point out is, if you don't have a will, take advantage of the will prep services. You also have tax consultations. So a lot of resources that a lot of people tend to forget that are out there. You also have will prep services. Now, I would print a copy of this and keep this with my other important paperwork, because should something happen to me, I'd want my beneficiaries to know that we had access to this, because what these people do, they help you with estate taxes. They help you with power of attorneys, getting organized, and they have, trust wills and so forth. So again, it's a free service. Typically it's forgotten about, so remember that you do have that available. Now, the Allstate voluntary benefits, there's supplemental coverage. They pay in addition to your medical insurance. And what's so good about the voluntary benefits is that the money's paid directly to you, the insured, so that if you have to pay your light bill, or you have to pay your truck payment, or you want to pay your deductible, the money's yours. You determine how you need to spend it. You may have to put gas in your vehicle that week if you're undergoing, cancer treatments and you're having to travel a lot. All of that is understandable. You dictate where the money's put. So the first couple of benefits that we're going to review are the accident hospital indemnity. Accident policies, it'll cover you 24/7. It pays for your dislocations, your fractures, intensive care, your cuts, your burns, there's a huge schedule. It's very, very affordable. You know, if you're out, anytime we get on the highway, there's a chance to have an accident. It doesn't have to be automobile related. You could be hunting. It could be anything like that. For a single accident policy, it's $4.16 per week. And again, it's just peace of mind, because what will happen if you had a covered accident, your medical insurance is paying your doctor bills. But, you know, what happens if, you know, I'm trying to get around on crutches and I miss, you know, several days of work and my bills are still due. So that's where these benefits come into play. Your hospital indemnity plan is a very important plan, because what's so good about this is if you know you're going to have, a lot of us can't predict when we're going to be in the hospital unless it's a pregnancy. Now, this is a great benefit for anyone who may be pregnant or thinking about having a family, because what this is, it's going to pay you upon the hospitalization, I believe it's 24 hours or more. You will have either a $1,000 payout or a $2,000. Well, that's going to help you come up with your deductible, and depending on which plan that you're in, and even could be used for other things. So it's a great benefit to have. Plus, there's a benefit that's paid out for each additional day in the hospital for 10 days. So it takes the worry about having a high deductible health plan, could be put in with a PPO plan. But again, it's a given, especially for the situations when you know you're going to have a hospital visit. Your sample pricing is $1,000 benefit. For single coverage, it's $5.10 per week. So very affordable. And then we move on to the cancer policy, and I have another slide, so I'm going to kind of skim over that and go straight to the critical illness. The critical illness options that you have in place is a lump sum. Upon the diagnosis of a critical illness, you get a lump sum payout of $10,000 or $20,000. They also have subsequent payouts for the same illness. So let's say, for instance, you're covered and you have a heart attack. You file a claim with Allstate and they send you $10,000 or $20,000. You have a stroke, same thing. Bypass surgery, renal failure, organ transplant, and more. What this is upon the initial diagnosis, because, you know, if you were to have a stroke, you may have to have modifications to your home. You may have to have a special vehicle to get around in. There are things that, you know, that are associated with the critical illness that you may have to pay for. So this is a solution. Again, you can use the money however you want. Sample pricing for age 33 non-tobacco user with employee child coverage is $1.63 per week. Very good pricing. And then, as you all know, we were in there last year. We spoke to you about the cancer with the ICU air ambulance payout through Allstate. Now, note above and beyond anything on this policy that you see, this is a cancer policy. It's going to have payout for your radiation, your chemo, your blood plasma, medical imaging. It's, as you incur cancer treatments, it has a payout. Now, the big thing, the beauty about this that, that offsets this from other traditional worksite carriers is it had the air ambulance payout, and it still does. But I'm going to point out the differences because we just introduced the MESA benefit as well. Now, with the air ambulance benefit, how Allstate pays is that if you were to incur an air or ground ambulance to a hospital for any reason, whether it's cancer, whether it's an automobile accident, whether it's a heart attack, any reason, they will pay your actual charges to the hospital as long as you are admitted to an ICU unit. That's the caveat there, is you have to be admitted to an ICU unit. Because when we were in there, your local life AirVac services was a network related only. This is a non-network. Now, what I want to point out here, this is still a great benefit because you're still getting the same weekly cost as you would for a typical cancer plan. The icing on the cake was the air ambulance. The difference with the MESA benefit is that you don't have to be admitted to the ICU benefit. They're gonna pay your provider for you, and that caveat's not there. Theirs is non-network related, just like this one. I think on yesterday's call, someone asked if they could have multiple policies. Well, the way we look at this one is Jamie had made a recommendation. He wouldn't see why you would carry the local lifeline if you had the MESA. But if you had the Allstate too, remember this is a cancer policy. Should you have this in MESA in place, MESA is going to take care of that big worrisome bill, but this money would be paid to you. So you could have a dual policy because the underlying structure is a cancer policy. So Moving on to the rest, the enrollment changes. As a reminder, this is your annual enrollment. All your benefits will remain in place until the 2020 annual enrollment unless you have that qualifying event. And again, a qualifying event, you have 30 days in which to get your changes to human resources. Last but not least, your summary of benefits is an ACA document. We're going to have this posted on the internet. It's about 6 or 7 pages. In my opinion, it's difficult to understand. I'd much rather see a benefit summary, but this came out with the healthcare reform, and it's available should you wish to review it, to review your medical plan. So that concludes the 2019 open enrollment presentation for Breckenridge Health. I'd like to open it up to questions now. If any of you have any questions, please either type it in on the chat box or ask, and we'll certainly go back to that slide to address it, especially while we have Murphy on the phone with us today. Do we have any questions?
Okay, if we don't have any questions, just everybody remember open enrollment is next week, November 12th through the 19th. It is required that you go on and do that, and it will be done on your ADP Workforce Now account. As Lisa mentioned earlier, the PowerPoint presentations are posted, and they're also posted there on your homepage of your ADP account. And we also have a YouTube video of the webinar, just in case you want to tell coworkers that could not participate in the webinars. A recording is already listed on the website. So if you have any questions at all, just let me know.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Lisa.